my opinion, it's a three-pronged process. The first one is nutrition. The second one is speed training. And the third one is getting your base miles in, right? So nutrition. You have to eat foods that help you perform well. You eat foods that make you perform like crap, you're not going to be able to do anything, right? So eating foods that make you sleepy are not what you want to do if you're going to try to increase your endurance, right? Typically for me, the foods is really simple. It's eggs and rice, right? Scrambled, or actually I do mine soft boiled or parboiled, and then parboiled rice. Actually, right now I'm eating my rice cold. I go to the gym and I build my endurance, right? Or I get on the road and I build my endurance. The second thing you want to dial in, you want to dial in speed training, right? And it really pays off when you get your base miles in too. So speed training. Basically, the way I speed train, I do it during a resistance workout, right? So whatever thing I'm doing, when I'm swimming, I'm cycling, or I'm running, I will do resistance training and integrate speed training techniques. Let me fix my glasses. I would integrate speed training into my resistance training. And when I do resistance training, I'm not lifting for strength or hypertrophy. I'm lifting for endurance, right? So some of these reps, like in the 20 to 30 rep range, ideally, right? So if I'm running, I'm doing bicep curls like this, like a runner would be running, and then doing them in long, like 20 to 30 reps, right? Long rep ranges. And the last thing you want to do, you want to dial this in. You want to dial it in, get your base miles in. And necessarily, don't do the same thing over and over and over. You want to actually do some small runs, do some long runs, do some small rides, long rides. And if you're riding, I do hill rides, right? And also when I'm swimming, I do some short 25s. I'll do a long 100, right? I do a 200 or 800, right? You want to get all those distances in so that your body has the ability to ride at different speeds and at different lengths. And one thing I didn't say is that when I'm doing these resistance training, speed training, right? When I'm doing speed training during resistance training, I'm watching my heart rate. So I'm getting my personal heart rate is coming down to about 108 when I'm swimming, when I'm running, when I'm cycling. It comes down to 108 before I start it again, right? So I'll do a 25 in the pool and then see my heart rate go up, and I'll watch it come back down. And for me, it comes down to 108 because I want to be able to speak without having shortness of breath while I'm speaking. And usually it's about 108 for me. And on cycling, the same thing, right? You want to get your heart rate up there, and then you want to bring it down to a point where it's a conversation type speed of your heart rate, right? So, and that helps with building endurance because you can do more repetitions. You can get more use out of an hour by doing that, by bringing your heart rate down and then exercising. That's for speed training. For endurance training, it's a whole nother concept. Still, you want to be eating well before that, but then you want to be able to ride as long as you can, right? The reason why I say speed training is important is because if you run an hour, right, and say you get 7 miles, maybe you were able to run that hour faster and you'll get more miles in, right? And so the more you do something, the better you get at it. And that's the whole concept behind building endurance, right? So if you run a mile in 10 minutes, well, you're not going to get much mileage out of that hour. And then if you ride a mile, relatively fast, your 20 mile, 1 hour time is going to be a lot faster than someone who rides a mile relatively slow. These are the things that I've used to help me run faster, be a better cyclist. I'm using this right now to help me get back into triathlon shape. I'm at the pool a couple times a week, and I look silly, but I'm looking at my watch, waiting till my heart rate comes down to 108 at least, right, before I do another repetition. And then I found that when I started, my heart rate is up in the 140s, 150s. But then as I go on and on and on, after the repetitions, my heart rate comes down. So like maybe the third or fourth week I'm into it, instead of the first 50 or the first 100 coming in at 140, coming in really hot, my first 50 or 40, my first 25 is coming in probably 130, 120, right? All these things I've used to help me build endurance, remember, it's like dialing in nutrition, doing speed training, and then getting your base miles. Now, if you want help reaching your fitness goals, there's no question in my mind, you should seek a physical trainer or a fitness coach, a personal performance coach, or something like that. Or if you want me to help, there's resources down below this video and at iHeartGains.com. I'm Schmidtie. I hope you reach your fitness goals, and I'll talk to you in the next one.